NASA released a picture of an enormous hole about 20 times the size of Earth, which has torn through the Sun, the second in less than a month. The huge coronal crater is hurling 1.8 million per hour solar winds towards Earth, which will hit us on 31st March. These holes, known as coronal holes, is a common occurrence on the Sun. Although the image could seem frightening at first, it does not imply that we are in danger. Hello, this is Anjana, and let's know more about this new solar hole and its potential effects on Earth. So what are coronal holes? Coronal holes are zones of open magnetic fields which can be seen as dark spots in the corona, the outermost region of the Sun's atmosphere. They are distinguished by lower temperatures and density than the surrounding regions of the corona and appear dark on optical and X-ray images. There are certain coronal holes that are so large that they occupy around 1/4 of the Sun's surface. They may emerge at a point during the solar cycle, which is the cycle that the magnetic field of the Sun undergoes roughly every 11 years. But they are most prevalent during the cycle's decreasing phase. The 25th solar cycle, which began in 2019, is anticipated to last until around 2030. Let us know why the coronal holes are a concern. The solar wind is a name given to the steady stream of protons and electrons that are constantly being released from the surface of the Sun in the form of hot gases. This continuous wind stream is produced by the Sun's rotational winding up of its magnetic field lines above its polar regions into a massive spinning spiral. Coronal holes accelerate the outflow of charged particles from the Sun, which causes the solar wind to flow out from the Sun particularly powerfully through them. The average speed of a solar wind as it exits the Sun is roughly 9 lakh miles per hour, but solar wind leaving through the center of a coronal hole travels much faster, that is up to 1.8 million miles per hour. In the parts of the corona where the particles leave the Sun, the glow is much dimmer and the coronal hole looks dark in ultraviolet images. Now, how is Earth affected by this coronal hole? Depending on their speed, it can take 2 to 4 days for these solar wind particles to reach Earth. When they do, geomagnetic storms may develop. A geomagnetic storm is a brief disruption of the magnetosphere of the Earth brought on by solar winds. Simply put, the magnetosphere is the area around Earth that is governed by our planet's magnetic field. It serves as the Earth's gatekeeper by protecting us from potentially hazardous energy coming from space. It's not a perfect defense though, as energy waves are transferred along the boundary between the solar wind and the magnetosphere when they collide with each other. Though the Earth's magnetic field does shield us from the solar wind, and the solar wind material never makes it down to the ground itself, the solar wind can squash and deform the Earth's magnetic field. This can produce a number of effects. Geomagnetic storms have the ability to enter our atmosphere, endangering astronauts and spacecraft, interfering with the navigational systems and causing chaos to power grids. Damage to satellites is mostly caused by energetic particles that modify or even destroy electronic elements on board the satellites. Tiny particles and some of the energy from solar storms can enter Earth's atmosphere by traveling via the magnetic field lines near the north and south poles. There, the particles interact with gases in our atmosphere, resulting in beautiful displays of light in the sky. The new coronal hole's fast solar wind alone, though, won't be sufficient to trigger a significant geomagnetic storm. That would require a powerful cloud of plasma to contact with the Earth, which is often caused by coronal mass ejections or CMEs. CMEs are massive expulsions of plasma from the Sun's corona that have a direct impact on the development of auroras. According to the top experts from the meteorology department, any major geomagnetic storm from this coronal hole is not expected. Scientists are closely monitoring the situation to determine whether the winds will have an impact on the Earth's magnetic field, spacecraft like satellites and in-flight rockets, and other critical technological components. Although significant harm is not anticipated, this could cause a GPS system issue over the weekend. If you like this video, do like, comment and share. For further updates, subscribe to Kaumudy Global.